Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Friday, December 22nd, 2023. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $19 Bank Shop best bet, as well as my all-access season pass in college hoops, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Friday in college hoops. First up, we see Drake and UAB in an afternoon game, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Yeah, I mentioned a couple of games ago when we talked about UAB and Alabama A&M that eventually we're going to get some value with UAB, who's off to a pretty rough start to the year. I mean, they have a winning record at 6-5, but that's much different than last year's team that was 29-10 and had a really deep postseason run. And I do think UAB is going to improve as the season goes along, shooting-wise especially. They're ranked 108 in adjusted offensive efficiency, but 248 in effective field goal percentage. Those shooting numbers should get better. A guy like Eric Gaines, who was shooting about 34% from the perimeter last year with a heavy volume amount of threes, is only 23%. He's 10 of 43 from the perimeter this year. Those numbers should improve. UAB already a really good offensive rebounding team. They get to the free throw line quite a bit, and they're a decent free throw shooting team. The defense, not my favorite, but Drake has played a really weak schedule this year. They're 11-1, and they're a solid team, but I do think a bit overvalued and overrated because they have played that weak schedule, 293rd in strength of schedule in non-conference play. They only have one true road game under their belt, and that was against Valparaiso, when a team was ranked 323rd in KenPom. So this is, arguably, other than that game maybe against Akron or Stephen F. Austin at the neutral site, this is the toughest test of the season, or Nevada at the neutral site for Drake this year. So a true road game against UAB, a team looking to figure things out now on a 2-game win streak after taking care of Alabama A&M and the subdivision opponent. I like UAB in this one. I think they could win the game outright. So give me UAB in this game. Next up, we see Mississippi Valley State taking on Baylor. This one's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start time on ESPN+. Now, we faded Mississippi Valley State in their last game against Tulsa. That was a 79-50 final score in favor of the Golden Hurricane, who covered the number for us in the end. And while I do think Baylor wins this game pretty comfortably, very comfortably in the end, I'm not looking to fade Mississippi Valley State per se. I'm just looking to fade their defense, and honestly Baylor's defense as well. I like the over in this one. Baylor, the 4th best adjusted offensive efficiency team in college basketball. Great shooting team. They're number 1 in the country in three-point shooting. 45%, right around 44.6% from 3 this year. A great offensive rebounding team that gets to the free throw line. That's a big problem for Mississippi Valley. They should be able to score 90-plus points, maybe even 100 points. We'll have to see if the pace of play benefits, if it allows for that. But I think Baylor scores at will in this ballgame. But I also think Mississippi Valley State's offense should improve as the season goes along. They were creating pretty good looks from the floor against Tulsa, and it's a solid Tulsa defense. While they only scored 50 points in the end, it was really because they had a bad shooting night. They were 2 of 14 from 3, 14%, 2 of 11 from the free throw line. That's 18.2%. While those numbers are miserable, and Mississippi Valley State's not a very good shooting team to begin with, they still shoot a lot better than 18% from the free throw line. They're a 56% free throw shooting team, 26% three-point shooting team. Those numbers, I think, are going to be a little bit better here against Baylor defense that I don't really like. It's 71st in adjusted defensive efficiency, but when you look at the shot quality numbers, this is an even worse defense. And I think Mississippi Valley, especially late in this game where, Baylor should be up by, 30, maybe 40-plus points, I think Mississippi Valley is going to be able to find some garbage time buckets. This is a team that usually George Ivory plays his starters for quite a bit in this game. He doesn't really go to the bench too much. So, I do think that we're going to get some opportunities for some garbage time buckets for Mississippi Valley. Baylor should be able to take care of the rest of the majority of the points in this game. Give me the over in the Delta Devils-Baylor matchup. Next up, we see Winthrop and Florida State. This one's also 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on ESPN+. Now, Florida State had a really bad beat in their last game against the spread-wise. They won the game comfortably 91-75 against North Florida, but they were laying 16.5 points at one of the numbers, and a couple of late threes from North Florida. They were down by 21 in the final moments, but a couple of late threes by the Ospreys found the cover in the end, 91-75. It was a tough beat, but I think there's value now because of that. Another failed, against the spread opportunity for Florida State. I think there's value with the Seminoles now in this spot against Winthrop. Not in love with this Winthrop team, especially recently. They played some step-up games against Xavier and South Carolina on the road. And they lost both those games by double digits, 75-59 to Xavier, by 10 points to South Carolina. I think Florida State, very talented team, that, had a rough start to the year. We saw them get blown out to Florida in that rivalry game, and they had a four-game losing streak recently to some tough programs. But this is still a really great coach in Leonard Hamilton. A solid shooting team, especially from the perimeter. The defense forces turnovers. Not a great rebounding team, which is a bit of a concern, but shouldn't be against Winthrop, who's equally not great on the defensive glass, 338th in defensive rebounding percentage. I just think Winthrop in a tough travel spot here. I mean, they played, now this is going to be their fourth straight true road game. And like I said, they've struggled in those step-up games, the last couple of them. So I'm going to go with Florida State here. I think there's value with the Seminoles right now and probably going to be some value with them in conference play. But I'll lay the points with Florida State in this one. Next up, we see New Mexico State and Tulsa. This one, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. We've done pretty good fading New Mexico State this season, and I like fade them in this spot as well against Tulsa. This is a Tulsa team we took against Mississippi Valley that really shoots the ball well at home, especially as of late. I mean, we saw against Mississippi Valley from three-point range, Tulsa was 54% in that ball game. But even the game against much better defense in Loyola Chicago, Tulsa put up 88 points and shot the ball 14 to 29 from three in that game, 48%. So they shoot the ball pretty well at home, and I think we're going to see a pretty good offensive performance from Tulsa in this one. Tulsa does a great job at getting to the free throw line. That was one of the reasons why I liked them against Mississippi Valley. Now, in that first half, Tulsa did not do a very good job of forcing fouls. I don't even know if they had a single free throw attempt until late in that first half. But in the second half, that's where Tulsa kind of pulled away in that one. They ended the game with 24 free throw attempts, so they really did a good job of drawing contact in that second half in the front court. New Mexico State, that's the big problem for this defense. They take a ton of fouls. They're already not a great defense to begin with, but teams score a ton of points at the free throw line against New Mexico State. That's a nightmare matchup here on the road now against a Tulsa team. That's their bread and butter offensively. And Tulsa, their defense, super strong defense. It wasn't the best against Mississippi Valley at times, shot quality-wise, and the defensive rebounding was a little bit concerning, but I still think Tulsa is a much better defensive team, and their offense has a great matchup here. This is a Tulsa team is 261st in adjusted offensive efficiency, so they're not an offensive juggernaut. But like I said, they shoot the ball well at home, and they match up so well against this Aggies defense because of those foul troubles. So give me Tulsa here. I'll lay the points. And the final game we're talking about for the Friday card in college basketball, it's going to be Illinois and Missouri. This one, 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Now, I like Missouri in this game. When you look at their two-game losing streak currently, those aren't really bad losses. They lost by 9 to Kansas on the road, true road game. No shame in that. And then you lose by 6 to Seton Hall and a neutral site, which at the time didn't look like a great loss. But now we just saw Seton Hall beat UConn outright and pretty much dominate that game. So putting up 87 points in a 6-point loss to Seton Hall, not too bad for Missouri. Now, obviously, they're going to have to compete at a higher level if they want to make, the NCAA tournament or be competitive in the SEC. But I think in a spot here at home against an Illinois team that doesn't have too many true road games under their belt. We saw in their last true road game losing by 7 to Tennessee, giving up 86 points in that game. This Illinois defense is strong. It forces tough shots, but doesn't force many turnovers. I think Missouri's offense, really fast-paced team, pretty good shooting team, especially from the perimeter. I think they match up pretty well with Illinois. And I think the Missouri defense, while it has its problems and it's not great on the defensive glass, it forces a lot of turnovers, which could be an issue for Illinois, especially in a true road game. This team has been, right around a little bit below league or country average in turnover percentage offensively. So that could be a problem here. They don't get to the free throw line. Not a great three-point shooting team. I think Illinois is a good team. I think they could very well win this game, but I just think they're laying too many points on the road. Give me Missouri, a team I think is undervalued because of its recent performances. And that's it. Those are the games for Friday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.